The movie starts in Harrison, Arkansas, 1989. A boy named Brandon is baptized. His mother says she's proud of him. Brandon complains to his mother because people keep calling him fat, but his mother encourages him by saying that God had a reason to make him that way. Besides, he doesn't need to take what people say for granted because only God knows what is best for him. His older brother Marty takes picture of Brandon when a man approaches him and congratulates him with Brandon's baptism.
Congratulations on your son's baptism.
Mom, I'm getting tired of this. We're only 17 years apart. It is obvious that we are brothers.
One day, visiting his mom, Marty finds warning letters from a gas company in her mailbox. Marty is fed up with his brother, who never does anything but sit on the couch, watching TV while stuffing his mouth with snacks.
Oh, hi, Marty.
Mama. Oh, come on. You think it's such a good idea for a 12-year-old boy to be sitting on the couch all day eating chips and cheesecake?
Marty.
For a 12-year-old boy, Brandon has a bigger body than boys his age. No matter what Marty tells him, Brandon doesn't budge and kept doing what he liked with a smirk on his face. While looking at American football players on the television, Brandon suddenly says that he wants to be just like them.
I'm gonna play for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
His mother just supports whatever Brandon wants to do.
I believe you, honey. But if you want to be a Razorback, you've got a lot of work to do.
At school, Brandon joins a football team. During a motivational speech before the game, the coach asks kids who wants to play NFL. Everyone raises their hands and Brandon even jumps up in front of the coach. When kids from starting lineup runs on the field, Brandon stays on the bench, overhearing how coach mumbles to himself.
50 million kids in America, and they all think they're going pro. Boy, they're stupid.
During the game, one of the main players got injured, so the coach orders Brandon to jump into the game. His mother and brother are excited to see him on the field. After the whistle, Brandon easily gets to a quarterback and grabs his leg like a Dagestani UFC fighter. But instead of taking him down, Brandon just holds his leg, letting his opponent to give a pass. The coach scolds Brandon with all his anger, leaving the audience in shock.
Burlsworth, you are never playing defense again, ever! Ever! Get your fat ass off this field!
Marty and his mother, who was watching at that time, are also ridiculed by other spectators. A high school coach named Coach Tice, who had been watching the game, approaches Brandon afterward. He offers encouragement, telling Brandon that to improve, he must be the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. Coach Tice promises that, with hard work, Brandon could play for his high school team. After practice, Marty is infuriated to see their father waiting to pick Brandon up. He resents his father for the turmoil his addiction brought to their family.
Not one drop, you understand me? You screw up. I don't care what Brandon says. You'll never see him again.
That evening, Brandon enjoys his time with his father until the man discovers a bottle of bourbon in a box and loses control. The next morning, Brandon finds him drunk in his bedroom, grumbling and scaring the boy. Frightened, Brandon calls Marty to take him home.
Marty, will you please come get me?
Upon arriving, their father pleads with Marty not to tell their mother about the incident, fearing she would never let him see Brandon again. Marty, filled with anger, sternly tells his father to stay out of their lives. Years later, we see Brandon on the high school football team under Coach Tice's guidance.
Hey guys, I told you lately that I love you. I'll get back to y'all on that.
True to his commitment, Brandon is always the first to arrive at practice, even before the coach. He confides in Coach Tice that while other guys have natural talent for football, he struggles for every game. Doubting his path, he wonders aloud if football is truly what God intends for him. Coach Tice reassures him.
So one guy gets $10,000 handed to him and another guy has to work for it. Now they both got $10,000, but the second guy gained a whole lot more along the way than just the money.
He shares exciting news with Brandon. He has arranged for him to meet the offensive line coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, named Coach Bender. Although it's only an unofficial visit, Coach Tice has described Brandon as a diamond in the rough. A few days later, the Burlsworth brothers arrive at the University of Arkansas for an unofficial meeting with the offensive line coach. Marty warns Brandon not to get his hopes up, pointing out that if the team were truly interested, they would have made the visit official. However, Brandon remains undeterred, seeing this as his pathway to the NFL. Marty attempts to engage Coach Bender in conversation, but the coach is skeptical about Brandon's prospects. With many players vying for scholarships, Coach Bender expresses reluctance to help, noting that Brandon still has the physique of a high school player and lacks the weight needed for college football.
I'm sorry. You're just not big enough.
Thank you, Coach.
I can get bigger.
You want to walk on? Pay your own way? We certainly won't stop you. We can always use a warm body on the scout team to hold the blocking dummies. And if it'll make you feel any better, I'll even make you an invited walk-on. But I want to make one thing absolutely clear. There ain't no way you're ever going to play. Not here. Not at this school.
Undaunted, Brandon asserts his determination to grow bigger and immediately buys several packs of snacks.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fueled by his dreams, Brandon intensifies his training regimen. Coach Tice continues to inspire the team with his insightful speeches, emphasizing that achieving big goals requires hard work.
I told you all lately that I love you?
No, Coach, you haven't.
Well, I'll have to get back to you on that.
One day, Coach Tice visits Brandon's home with exciting news. He has secured a scholarship offer for Brandon from Arkansas Tech University. While the family celebrates, Brandon is visibly conflicted, torn between his dream and reality. In a dramatic moment, he tears up the scholarship letter declaring his intent to join the Razorbacks at the University of Arkansas, despite Coach Tice highlighting the family's financial struggles.
Why aren't you the one that told me it doesn't matter what other people think? It only matters what I think.
Ultimately, upon high school graduation, Brandon receives the same offer during the ceremony.
Has accepted a scholarship to play football at Arkansas Tech University.
The family has resolved that he will attend Arkansas Tech, but Brandon boldly announces his plan to walk on at the University of Arkansas, ready to leave immediately. His determination angers Marty, who scolds him for not considering the family's financial hardships. As Brandon tries to start his car to leave, it fails, prompting Marty's mockery.
Looks like you're not going anywhere there, cheesecake.
While their father watches silently from a distance. One evening, Brandon overhears his mom discussing a new loan over the phone, realizing his aspirations may have pushed the family's finances to the brink. This revelation prompts him to reconsider his decisions as he meticulously tapes the torn scholarship offer back together. His mother approaches with news. His father will help fix the car, and she has managed to secure a second mortgage. However, it will only cover 1 year of education, meaning Brandon must secure a scholarship during that time to continue.
You are going to be the first Burlsworth to get a degree.
Filled with gratitude and determination, Brandon assures her he will make the most of the year to obtain a scholarship and repay her.
I'm going to earn a scholarship and I'll pay you back every penny, whatever it takes.
I know you will, because I'm going to need it.
A few days later, Brandon's entire family, along with Coach Tice, see him off. The drive to the campus is a manageable 90 minutes from home. Marty supports him by giving him a cell phone, ensuring Brandon can reach out whenever needed. Upon arriving at his dream campus and starting his training with the football team, Brandon faces ridicule from other new players for his size, as the scales tip at 330 pounds. Despite Coach Bender's earlier comment about him being underweight for the team, it seems Brandon misunderstood. The coach hadn't intended for him to gain excess weight.
You said I wasn't big enough last fall.
You telling me you put on 85 pounds in 1 year? That's got to be some kind of record. Well, I don't know whether to congratulate you or put you on life support. 50% body fat ain't exactly what I had in mind.
Coach Bender introduces a new team policy. Scholarship players can delegate tasks to walk-on players, which means Brandon will be running errands.
You two are rooming together.
Moreover, walk-ons like him have separate locker rooms, underscoring the divide. When Coach Bender reviews Brandon's player information form and finds no mention of a father, he looks visibly puzzled, adding another layer of complexity to Brandon's challenges. During a grueling training session, Brandon struggles with his performance, his excess body fat hindering his mobility. This makes him the target of ridicule among his teammates. Despite this, Coach Bender notices Brandon's relentless effort and decides to advocate for him to the team coach.
When are you going to learn? It is not about strength and size. It is about footwork.
After practice, as Coach Bender gathers the players, he shares a pivotal insight. Football isn't just about strength and size. It's about mastering footwork. From the bleachers, Marty watches discreetly. Coach Bender explains that while many believe the backs and receivers are the most skilled due to their natural talent, it's actually the linemen who are the true skill players because their abilities are learned, not innate. Interrupted by the team coach questioning his investment in Brandon, Coach Bender asserts his belief in giving everyone a chance.
We just might find a diamond in the rough.
Later, Coach Bender announces that the head coach summons the top linemen and the rest will be redshirting this year. Brandon is devastated, realizing he might lose his chance at a scholarship this year, and with only his mother's loan covering 1 year, his future at the university is in jeopardy.
Scholarship? Oh boy, none of you is getting a scholarship. But what you are doing is helping the team get ready every week. And in that regard, you are invaluable, so I want you to hold your heads high.
Post-practice, Brandon confronts Coach Bender, asserting his determination to secure a scholarship by year's end. Coach Bender offers a glimmer of hope, suggesting that if Brandon perseveres, he'll be allowed to dress for the final game. However, he warns that final evaluations for spring will determine his future on the team.
Listen, Brandon, you should be real proud of yourself for what you've been able to accomplish so far. I am.
That evening, as Brandon's teammates prepare for a party, they mockingly invite him, poking fun at his sober habits and tidiness. After organizing his desk, Brandon leaves, only to return for forgotten keys. He overhears his teammates mocking his meticulousness and close relationship with his mother, calling him a mama's boy.
Has he gone even a single week without running back home to his mom? And I swear I think that kid's a robot. You know he follows the exact same schedule every single day? He's like if Rain Man and C-3PO had a love child.
No. Rain Man and C-3PO are much cooler than that fat geek.
Stung by their words, Brandon leaves the room, deciding to meet his mother halfway home.
I thought you said I wasn't fat, Mama.
You're not fat. You're just a big old boy.
Brandon confides in his mother that he won't be able to secure the scholarship this year. She's already informed by Marty, but remains optimistic, soothing Brandon with the thought that if he can dress for the final gain, they'll capture memorable photos to show his future grandkids. Before parting, she reminds him to watch out for big trucks on the road and to pray daily. During a practice session, Brandon unexpectedly tackles a scholarship player to the ground. Coach Bender publicly rebukes Brandon for the incident, criticizing him for potentially harming a key team player and declaring it a waste of time.
I don't know why I keep letting your fat, awkward ass stay here anyway, but I'm about done. Some people were made to play football and some weren't.
He also chastises the scholarship player for failing to outmatch the walk-on. After cooling down, Coach Bender pulls Brandon aside, telling him that he's just doing his job and he doesn't really know if he belongs there or not. He then encourages Brandon to lose the excess weight, promising to help him build muscle in place of fat. Motivated by the coach's guidance, Brandon doubles down on his efforts. Accustomed to a strict schedule, Brandon easily follows all the instructions of the coach.
If I can teach my son how to walk, I can teach you these steps.
But Brandon still finds it difficult to work out in the gym. Marty regularly visits to support his brother's training efforts. Brandon starts each day at 5 a.m. with prayer, fueling his drive and rapid progress. As he sheds pounds and inches closer to his physical goals, even his initially skeptical teammates begin to respect his dedication and precision.
Look at this. Look at my man Brandon. Dude, just walk on the grass.
One rainy day, as Brandon perseveres through his training, the head coach witnesses his determination and admits his initial misjudgment. Over time, Brandon surpasses his teammates in nearly every exercise.
So you let the turd beat you?
Ultimately achieving his target weight.
We did it, Coach.
There it is. Right there for you. Amazing.
During a practice session, Brandon is selected to face off against Nathan, one of the top scholarship players. The crowd snickers, and even Coach Bender advises Brandon to simply do his best and avoid embarrassment.
We're not going to beat him. He's the best we got, and you just lost all that weight. But if you remember your steps, he won't embarrass you.
Yes, sir.
However, when the whistle blows, Brandon effortlessly pushes Nathan out of the cage, stunning everyone into silence and catching the coach off guard. Encouraged by the unexpected turn of events, Coach orders a repeat. This time, Brandon ejects Nathan even more swiftly, earning cheers from the spectators and visibly embarrassing Nathan. Coach Bender, unable to contain a smile, chastises Nathan for being bested by the walk-on.
You just got your butt kicked by a walk-on.
Coach, I've played against walk-ons. That's no walk-on.
Witnessing this, the head coach approaches Bender, lamenting that they've reached their scholarship limit. Later that evening, Brandon's roommate Grant extends an unexpected invitation to grab a bite with him. Initially puzzled, Brandon agrees, only to find a group, including several girls, waiting in his room.
Grant, can I speak to you, please?
Me?
Yes, you. You told me this was a date.
It's not a date, okay? We're just going to hang out. What's the matter with you anyway? Don't you think she looks good?
Yeah, she looks real good.
That's what I thought.
They head to a cafe and enjoy lively conversation. Nathan, deciding to play a prank, orders Brandon a strawberry shake laced with alcohol, knowing full well that Brandon abstains from drinking. After Brandon unknowingly consumes the drink and shares that he won't be able to return next year due to scholarship constraints, the mood dampens. Despite this, Brandon expresses gratitude for the memories and fun times with his teammates, which causes Nathan to regret his actions. Just then, a waitress informs the group that they're not serving any more alcohol for the night, exposing the prank. Disappointed, Brandon leaves the cafe, followed by his concerned friends. In an effort to clear his head, Brandon begins running on the stadium track.
He won't talk to me. I think he's trying to run off the alcohol or something.
So let him run. Grant, let the crybaby run.
Grant joins him first, showing solidarity.
Just because this guy thinks he's better than us doesn't mean we need to agree with him. I'll leave you here, man. I swear to you.
Eventually, even Nathan joins them to support Brandon. After a few minutes, the trio reconciles, restoring their camaraderie. The day of the final game arrives, and Brandon is thrilled as he hears the Hogs call echoing from the field, the entire stadium vibrating with the crowd's roaring support. His mother and Marty are there, cheering him on.
Mama, do you think this one game is worth 20 years of debt to you?
My son knows I have faith.
After an exhilarating game, a somber Grant informs Brandon that Coach Bender wants him to clean out his locker.
Coach wants you to clean out your locker.
Clean it?
Yeah, he said take everything and meet him up in his office. Uniform, too.
Be right there.
However, it turns out to be a ploy. Coach Bender has actually assigned Brandon a scholarship locker. Overjoyed, Brandon calls home to announce that he has indeed earned a scholarship. Leaving his family overjoyed, his teammates break into a song celebrating his hard-earned success. In 1997, during a critical match against Florida, Brandon experiences sudden blurred vision, impacting his performance. He mistakenly blocks the wrong player, contributing to the team's loss.
I said 96, not 56. You got me?
Amidst a barrage of questions from the press aimed at the quarterback about the team's poor performance, Brandon steps forward to take responsibility, admitting that it was his fault.
Excuse me. Today was my fault. I couldn't get my man, so Clint couldn't do his job. He's the best quarterback Arkansas's had in 20 years.
He tells the coach that something is wrong with his eyes. Returning to the locker room wearing thick, prominent glasses, his teammates jestingly call him Clark Kent. Undeterred, Brandon asserts confidently,
I don't have to look good to play good.
In a subsequent game, tensions run high as the team struggles, and the quarterback becomes visibly agitated. Demonstrating his leadership, Brandon steps in to calm him down, showcasing not only his resilience, but also his ability to lead under pressure. After a demanding game, Coach Bender pulls Brandon aside to deliver distressing news. His father has been hospitalized with lung cancer and has lost his sight. Despite this, Brandon insists on not missing practice. Coach Bender reminds him that football, while important, is only a part of life, and family must come first. Heeding this advice, Brandon and Marty visit their father in the hospital. During the visit, their father expresses his regrets and implores Brandon to take good care of his mother. After a heartfelt prayer from Marty and Brandon, their father sadly passes away. The season worsens for the Arkansas Razorbacks, who endure a series of losses, leading to frustrated fans throwing trash at the players during games.
Go home, Razorback! You guys are terrible!
In response to the tumultuous season, the university decides to change the head coach and plans to rebuild the team. While watching news of the coaching change, Brandon seeks advice from Coach Bender on reaching the NFL.
Is there any way you think I could make it to the NFL?
Sure, easy. Just you make All-American next year and you're in luck.
Well, how do I do that?
Dad's kidding, Brandon.
With only 1 year left as a senior, and with the incoming coach planning to rebuild the team, Bender warns Brandon that there's a chance Brandon not even get to play this year. He explains the stark reality. Less than 2% of college athletes make it to the NFL. Brandon believes that doing his best is enough, but Coach Bender reminds him that football is a team sport. Scouts usually focus on teams that consistently win. Brandon stays late at the training ground the next day, where the new head coach discovers him. Brandon pleads with the coach not to rebuild the team, arguing it could ruin their careers. The coach shares his own pressures. If the team fails, he faces dismissal.
You saw what happened to your last coach, didn't you?
Moved by Brandon's commitment, he agrees to consider keeping the team intact if they promise to work harder. Realizing he can't reach his goal alone, Brandon packs up everyone's gear.
Brandon, I'm not going home till Friday.
You're not going home at all. None of us are.
What?
Yo, Big, what are you doing?
And tells the offensive lineman to follow him.
Okay, 3PO just blew a circuit.
The four friends arrive at their summer townhouse, only to find two haters living next door.
You boys gonna make this neighborhood suck too? You guys are terrible!
I'll be right back.
Hey, never mind them. We start working tomorrow.
Brandon wakes everyone up at 3 a.m. and drags them to work out. Brandon's motivation is strong enough to inspire not only himself, but also his teammates.
Hey, Lucas, get down here.
No, absolutely not.
Come on, Lucas. You can be our linebacker.
No, Big, I'm a receiver.
Pushing them to work harder. Seeing the dedication of the four friends, the haters begin to change their minds.
They might not be that bad this year.
As summer ends, the coaches are struck by the team's transformation. The head coach, impressed by Brandon's leadership, publicly acknowledges his belief in him and the positive influence he's had on the team.
You believe how hard they're working? Seems like a whole new team this year.
Wish I could say it's all cause of me. You know that's not true.
Inspired by his example, the Razorbacks see an unprecedented influx of 57 walk-ons this year. The season kicks off with a riveting game against Alabama, where the revitalized Arkansas Razorbacks dominate the field. In his excitement, Marty forgets to attach the lens to his camera until the real Marty Burlsworth reminds him to do so.
You might want to put that lens on the camera before you miss the whole game.
After handing Alabama their worst defeat, the team celebrates their victory.
Sir, your son sure is a heck of a player.
Thank you. All right, son. Smile.
Marty snaps a picture of the friends in front of the scoreboard, and Brandon declares it their new tradition. Brandon not only motivates his friends to work harder, but also encourages them to pray together every evening. The head coach coins the term Burl's Way to describe hard work and determination. One day when a sidewalk is blocked by workers, Brandon's friends expect him to break his principles by stepping on the grass, but he stays true to his path.
No. What's he gonna do?
No! That's my boy!
A few weeks later, the entire team prays with Brandon at Coach Bender's house. Brandon becomes a real star, and even the haters start rooting for the team at every game. Kids begin cosplaying as Burlsworth, wearing thick glasses in his honor. The team's and Brandon's popularity grows rapidly as they win one game after another, always taking photos in front of the scoreboard. One day after a game, Brandon is swarmed by reporters with questions about the upcoming final against the best team in the league. His friends wait for him for the traditional photo, but the interview drags on, so they head to the showers. Bursting in, Brandon insists they put their dirty uniforms back on for the picture.
Here we go, guys. Ready? Cheese.
The journey of the Arkansas Razorbacks that year becomes legendary in the world of sports, with Brandon emerging as the star.
The greatest walk-on story in the history of college football.
Finally, it's November 14th, 1998. Tennessee, the final match everyone has been waiting for. The game is intense with a narrow score difference. Brandon executes a perfect takedown and offers a hand to help up a Tennessee player. The score is Arkansas 24, Tennessee 22, and the atmosphere is electric. During Tennessee's offensive drive, a Razorback player intercepts the ball, and the team prepares for their final offense. They're already celebrating their imminent victory, believing Tennessee has no chance. All Arkansas has to do is run out the clock. The Razorbacks are getting ready for the Gatorade shower when disaster strikes. The quarterback trips over Brandon and fumbles the ball. No one can believe they've just lost their chance at victory. In disbelief, Brandon watches as Tennessee scores the winning touchdown. After the game, Brandon approaches the quarterback and apologizes for tripping him, insisting on telling the press the truth so Clint doesn't take the blame.
But it wasn't your fault, Burls. Well, falling down is a part of the game. Doesn't give me license to drop the ball.
Coach Tice also comes to support Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, I told you lately that I love you?
No, Coach. You haven't.
Well, I do.
That weekend, Brandon meets with his family. As always, his mom comforts him. After saying their goodbyes, they hear on the radio that Brandon Burlsworth has been named a first-team All-American. Brandon is quickly recruited by the Indianapolis Colts.
You better order a truckload of those ugly glasses.
I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they look a lot better on him.
After officially joining the team, he attends the Colts minicamp as the youngest player, working out with his usual intensity, which irritates some of his new teammates.
Chill out! He said take it easy. What's wrong with you?
I didn't hear the whistle.
Unexpectedly, Brandon is immediately named a starter for the next season. He feels both happy and strange. As for the first time, something he wanted came easily. Until now, everything had required hard work.
Brandon, it may have taken me a few seconds to say you're a starter, but it was years of your hard work that gave me a reason to say it.
Later, Brandon returns to Arkansas to see his coach and teammates. He's invited to attend the ring ceremony but declines, explaining that he promised his mom he'd take her to church that evening, and then he'll head to Indianapolis to sign his contract. Brandon admits that while he used to miss home when he first arrived in Arkansas, now he'll miss the university and his team, who become his new family. After that, Brandon drives home. A few hours later, Marty tries to call him, but there's no answer. Feeling uneasy, Marty heads to his mother's house. When he arrives, he's shocked to see police cars parked outside. He hears his mother's heart-wrenching cries from inside. The police have come to deliver the devastating news. Brandon had been in an accident, and tragically, it claimed his life. For a moment, Marty's world stops. Everything feels unreal, but he's jolted back to reality when his mother screams his name in anguish. None of them ever imagined Brandon would be taken so soon, at just 22, right after achieving his dream of joining the NFL.
The Brandon Burlsworth story was unfolding like a fairy tale, but yesterday afternoon, Burlsworth died in an auto accident. Police say Burlsworth's Subaru crossed the center line and was hit by a semi.
At the funeral, a man approaches Marty, lamenting the unfairness of it all. He questions his faith in God, saying Brandon was a hard-working, kind person who never even got to enjoy his success.
Wasn't he just days away from signing? Could have set his mom up for life. He just signed that contract. Got those benefits. All he wanted to do was take care of his mama. Honor thy father and mother. Isn't that one of the 10 Commandments, Marty? What, God breaking his own rules now?
Angry, Marty chases the man away. Later, Marty confides in his mother, questioning why God would take Brandon away so soon when he had worked so hard and was finally on the verge of success. His mother, though grieving, responds with faith, saying they are too small to understand God's larger plan, but she believes there is purpose in everything.
Do you remember when Brandon had to get those ridiculous-looking glasses? You thought it was terrible at first, but it turned out to be a good thing. It made him stand out.
Marty then notices a flower arrangement on the football field that spells out, "We trust," something he hadn't seen before while on the field. This moment helps him understand his mother's words and motivates him to honor Brandon's memory by spreading his priorities. Since 1999, Marty has run the Brandon Burlsworth football camps, dedicated to teaching Brandon's values of faith, family, academics, and football. The University of Arkansas awards 18 Burlsworth academic scholarships each year, along with one scholarship for the most outstanding walk-on player. The Brandon Burlsworth Foundation provides free eye care to thousands of underprivileged children and gives them free tickets to every Razorbacks and Colts home game. In 2010, the Burlsworth Trophy was established, awarded annually to the most outstanding player in America who began as a walk-on. Brandon's locker has been encased in glass since 1999 and remains a reminder to Razorbacks players to this day.